We have had an outstanding year for most football teams, but for us to complete our goal, we want to win that SWAC championship.
Now, it may seem like a tall order for Alabama State to knock off Southern this afternoon for the championship, but today's game is nothing compared to what the team had to overcome this season. But through it all, the Hornets have managed to finish 8-4, and they won the SWAC East. Now, when Coach Charles Coe got to Montgomery, he found that the cupboard wasn't bare. In a passing conference, it was the rushing of sophomore Keldrick Williams, the SWAC newcomer of the year, rushing for 1,095 yards and 10 touchdowns. That proved to be the big difference, but don't sleep on their receiving tandem. Glover and Chad Lucas combined for 71 receptions, 1,329 yards, but they featured a bend-but-don't-break defense led by a pair of all-conference SWAC performers, linebacker Ronald Denton, 99 tackles and 7.5 sacks. D lineman Tim Parham won't play in the first half, but those two players combined for 14.5 sacks, and Alabama State isn't daunted by this challenge today.
Those guys have adapted well. We had some early problems, I shouldn't say problems, but some early things early on during the course of two-a-days, and I think those guys finally brought in the fact that, hey, these guys are all right, they're here for us, it's not about them. It's not about trying to change everything, but I run a tight ship, I run a disciplined ship. They understood that, and they bought into it, and we went out and played as hard, and I tell those guys, just go out and play hard as you can between the white lines.
And joining us right now is a coach who had to get a team prepared to face both of these crews, Coach Anthony Jones of Alabama A&M. Coach, I kind of figured to be talking to somebody else, but welcome into the house here right now. When you look at these two teams, notably, let's start with Alabama State. If you're developing a game plan, what do you try to take away from them?
First thing I would take away is their special teams. Their punt return unit is excellent. They beat you with the block punt, or they'll beat you with the return. They start fast with that way. They look like they spend a lot of time on that unit. If you can take that away from them, that'd be a key.
And what about Keldrick Williams, the transfer from Tennessee?
He's an excellent back. He's hard to find, and he runs extremely hard. That's another key you have to take away. You have to force them to throw the ball and try to throw it deep all the time. Put a little pressure on them, try to make them make some tough decisions.
But at the end of the day, their offense is definitely driven by Keldrick Williams. Now, you're Pete Richardson, you're in Southern's locker room, you got your coaches together. What are you trying to do with your game plan to get ready for the Hornets?
Well, as always, I think Pete is going to try to come out and start fast. His offense, he knows that's the key. He knows that offense can discourage a lot of teams. So if he can get out, jump out on them real quick, get those receivers going, get Quincy back there and throwing that ball all over the place and score quick, it demoralizes the team.
It's a messy day. They do have a high-risk, big-play offense. On a messy day like this, as a coach, are you inclined to change a few things, or do you just have to, stay with what got you here?
No, I don't. I think they'll stay with what got them here. They also have Peoples, who is an excellent running back. So they can put the ball in his belly, and he'll get 4, 5, 6 yards or pop it up through there with big yards. And so that's going to bring the defense in to try to stop him from running. And Quincy is also an excellent runner. He'll drop back. He don't see what he likes. He's going to take off and run the ball. So they have a lot of weapons. And regardless of what the weather is, they can hurt you in a number of ways.
Now, I know you said that one of the big keys when we talked earlier this week is to not let Southern develop that momentum. When they smell blood in the water, they know how to go in for the kill.
I mean, they're like a bunch of sharks on a frenzy. When you see them, they start to score early. Everybody starts to celebrate. They get involved in it. Next thing you know, you have guys making plays all over the field, whether it's special teams, whether it's offense, whether it's defense. You have your hands really full then.
Well, I know you wish you were playing, but thanks for taking the time to join us. We really appreciate having you in the house. And you want to offer up a prediction?
A good football game.
Good
Thanks
job
for
out of
having
you. Anthony Jones, the head coach of Alabama A&M. We will come back with more from the SWAC championship game here in Birmingham. You keep it locked, and we will bring in our guru, Sam Shade, Luke Williams, talk about the buzz in the SWAC when the sports desk rolls from Birmingham here at the Jeep SWAC Championship on NBC Sports. Question, yes. Okay, first question is going to go to you, and I guess we'll talk about, let me see this is what I need right quick. Yeah, okay, cool.
I got you, baby. I got you. I hear you.
Yeah, I do. How you doing, man? All right, Ryan.
No, we can rock this, y'all.
Who's that, Ron? Talking to us?
Yeah, that's.
I got you, Ron.
And let's try to make it safe on the telephones in the vicinity of Ron right now. So let's try to get this right. Thousands of phones around the state of Florida right now.
Yeah.
And this is George Small, the MEAC Coach of the Year and Eddie Robinson Award finalist. Coach Small, one of a quintet of folks who are finalists for the Eddie Robinson Award, which is given annually to the top coach in Division I AA. We'll see both coaches in this contest who are finalists for that, as is Doug Williams, the head coach of Grambling. Mike Ayers of Wofford, who led his team to a victory over A&T in the first round of the 1AA playoff, as well as Howard Schnellenberger, who ended the season at Florida Atlantic with Bethune-Cookman. Mark Gray in the house here as the SWAC championship pregame continues. Sam Shade, former defensive back. This could be called the house Sam Shade built. We'll get into that a little bit later on. And the Black College sports guru extraordinaire, Luke Williams of the Black College Sports Stage. Luke, we'll open up things with you. And I got to ask you, you were the one who told me earlier in the week you gave more than just your average puncher's chance to Alabama State to pull off the upset today. Why?
A lot of reasons, Mark, particularly because this game that they lost earlier to Southern was their worst game of the season. They fell behind 28-3. This is the only game all season they've laid an egg. They've come out with the big problem that they had at the school with the coach going out, and came in and beat Florida A&M, ended the season beating Tuskegee. I said that they're due for a good game against Southern, as they have against everybody else all year.
And I can hear my boy over here, Sam Shade, chomping at the bit right now. And I don't want you to go into not so fast, my friends, but let's take a 20-second timeout.
I know it's hard to beat a team twice in a season, but Southern is a machine. And it starts with Quincy Richard, man. The quarterback is doing an awesome job. He is a field general.
But you also, as a DB, were really talking earlier this week to me about how much you love the game Lenny Williams brings to the table.
And you talk about Lenny Williams, man. This kid, he's the leader of this defense. He started every game since he's been at Southern. He's been all SWAC every season. The kid is great, man. All those guys on defense, they rally around Lenny Williams, and he makes a lot of plays. You watch him right here coming up in the running game, making plays behind the line of scrimmage.
Let me ask you, how big does his role change? He is a senior, but they got an incredible lift Southern this year did from freshman Jamal George, who won't play. He broke his leg in practice prior to the Bayou Classic. Does that change the role of a player like Williams?
I tell you, I talked to George yesterday on the field, and George talked about the leadership of Lenny. And Lenny, he's gonna make up for that. You know, losing George, the free safety, that's gonna be a big loss, but I think they can overcome it.
All right, let's get to the buzz of SWAC football right now. Here's the buzz going on around the SWAC now. No more quick snaps, but we are gonna get the little tete-a-tete going. First question, number one, to both of my gurus right here. Quincy Richard, SWAC Offensive Player of the Year. Bruce Eugene doesn't even make second team all-conference at quarterback. You got one vote, even though Eugene is a 1AA Player of the Year finalist. You got one vote for Player of the Year in this conference offensively. Luke, let's start with you. Who do you give it to?
Hey, it's simple. Who won when they matched up? You know, these teams went into the Bayou Classic. That was the big game that was going to determine who won the SWAC West. Richard won. He threw for 552 yards, 5 touchdowns. They won the game. Hey, you got to give it to Richard. They're in this championship game. Bruce Eugene's at home.
But Bruce Eugene did lead in total offense this year, Luke. You're not going to give him the advantage?
Hey, he led in total offense. He threw for more yards, but he didn't win.
Oh, man.
You know, the winner, you know,
so the entire body of work does not count with you.
All things being equal, who won?
Sam?
My argument is this. Bruce Eugene, you put all the numbers together from the season. He had the better stats during the season. I know in the head-to-head matchup, but Southern, the defense of Southern was a lot better than Grambling. I think that was the difference in that ball game.
And Luke, with all due respect, I mean, I appreciate where you're coming from with Quincy Richard, but you look at, Bruce Eugene's entire body of work, and he doesn't play defense. I mean, he didn't give up that 500 yards.
Got a good point for you, Mark. But listen, Bruce Eugene had a better year last year than this year. About 4,500 yards, 45 touchdowns. This year he's down 700 yards, 7 touchdowns. Richard had the better year, plain and simple.
Now, in the SWAC, they don't give the coach of the year until after the game. So officially, the winning coach of this game will be named SWAC coach of the year. However, you two guys, let's play like we got votes in the coach of the year. Is it Pete Richardson? Is it Doug Williams? Or is it somebody else?
No, it's Charlie Coe. My vote goes to Charlie Coe. Yes, it's automatic. If you win this game, you're the coach of the year. I don't really agree with that. This team, as I said earlier, started off the season without this coach. They were picked last in the East without this coach. He comes in after August 1st, gets these guys on a roll, knocks off FAMU to start the season, and as I said, ended up with a big win over Tuskegee they hadn't beaten in 4 years. Charles Coe has done the greatest job. And look, if he wins this game, he's going to get it anyway.
Who's Tuskegee, though? They're D2. They didn't even finish as a 500 team.
My hat goes off to Charlie Coe. But I think Pete Richardson, this Southern team, they're a couple points away from an undefeated season. He's done a great job. He lost some good players last year, and he came back this year, and his team has played great.
But if you fall into the category of my good friend over here, Luke Williams, who says that one game can define your entire body of work, he lost at home to Alcorn. You're not supposed to do that.
Well, that's what we call a letdown. You have those.
No, you couldn't even call that a letdown. That was a last season. It's a hard choice. But look, they only lost that game on the last minute. Otherwise, they got a perfect season.
Okay, break it up. Okay, let's take a look at the NBC Sports Black College Sports page, top 10. And the question really becomes, you look at the number 1 team in Southern. Southern wins the Black College National Championship with a win today. If they lose, who gets your vote?
Mark, that's a long answer. I'm going to make it short, though. I don't know. Let me tell you, it's like
you need to get out from behind the computer more.
It's like this, Mark. The only way you're going to have a national champion, forget the BCS mess. This is the Black College National Championship mess. If Alabama State wins this game, it's a mess. It's a mess. Why don't we have a playoff? Let's get a big championship game, the Black College National Championship on the field, not in everybody's mind, in the voters' mind.
What do you think, Sam? If you had a vote for Coach of the Year this year,
for Coach of the Year?
In terms of, not Coach of the Year, that's my era, but in terms of national champion. I mean, if Southern loses?
I say it's a mess, but I do say if Southern wins, crown them, baby.
Oh, no doubt.
Okay, now it's interesting that Luke Williams talks about, and of course the top 10 sponsored by Office Depot, what you need to know. And what we need to know is you got some knowledge, dog. You told us earlier this week on my sports program, The Sports Crew, that the Heritage Bowl, which was the meeting of representatives from the SWAC and the MEAC in a postseason fast, is on its way back maybe as early as next year.
More information, Mark. The Heritage Bowl will not come back until the MEAC, that means the commissioners and the presidents, decide that the MEAC champion is going to play the SWAC champion. The reason the Heritage Bowl went away is the SWAC created this game here. The last time the Heritage Bowl was 1998. So now, if the MEAC can decide, the presidents and the commissioners can decide that this is what they want to make this game as big as it can possibly be, a Black College National Championship game, that'll happen then. So maybe I have to stand corrected. Maybe not next year, but it's definitely in the works.
And Sam, quickly, we got about 20 seconds, playing in the championship game. Are you down with that national championship?
I'm down with that. I would love to see that, especially in black college football, because you've got so many great teams. You talk about Southern, you look at some of the other teams from the MEAC, and that would be a great game to bring back that Heritage Bowl.
Well, we can only hope that the powers that be can work it out. This has been the buzz in the SWAC here. Luke Williams joins us from the Black College Sports page. You can catch out his work all season long on honordan.com. Sam Shade will join us at the half. When we come back, we'll take you to the guys who will call the action for you. Charlie Neal and Jay Walker join us. It is the NBC Sports Desk, live from the SWAC Championship here on NBC Sports. And the pomp and circumstance and pageantry is what the SWAC championship is all about. Those are the marching Hornets of Alabama State. And earlier this season, when we kicked off NBC Sports coverage of black college football, I had the opportunity to kick it off with the two guys who will call today's game the best-dressed broadcast team in the business. I send it upstairs to Charlie Neal and former black college All-American Jay Walker.
All right, thank you very much, Mark. You know, Jay, we saw the Southern University team way back in August, first game of the season, and one of the concerns we had, as did Coach Pete Richardson, was how do you replace some of the key people he lost from the 2002 team, including wide receiver Mike Hayes?
Yeah, and I think what Coach Richardson decided to do was not only replace Michael Hayes, but replace all those receptions he got from that tremendous wide receiver. So rather than create another superstar, he created a wide receiver by committee and had some big-time receivers step up and make big plays. You had Chris Davis emerge and double his production from the previous year. Alfred R., big playmaker, 10 touchdowns this season, and then he had Lionel Joseph. So what he decided to do was, rather than have one more superstar, he created 3 great football players, and this Jaguar offense is much better off for it.
And the story in college football this year is Alabama State. I mean, you're talking about overachievers. Let's start with how they were picked in the preseason poll to finish last in the Eastern Division. They had a new coach just before the season started. And then in midseason, Coach Charlie Cole has open heart surgery. If anybody deserves to be in this championship game, it's Alabama State.
It is, and as broadcasters, we try and be as neutral as we can, but anybody that's a fan of black college football has to be pulling for Alabama State a little bit. What they've overcome this season is tremendous. They got into it by the new Coach Cole got in there and decided that he was going to not shake things up, but continue to improve what he had.
Got there on the 4th, we started practice on the 6th. So it was a little tough. So I adapted to their stuff. We tweaked some things as we went along the way. Spoke with the coaches, told them who I was about, my philosophy, what I wanted to do, and how I wanted to construct practice. And they bought into it, obviously, and we were able to keep the players focused.
And no matter what happens today, Jay, he's got my vote as Coach of the Year.
Great job.
All right, let's go back downstairs to Mark.
So it should be an interesting contest. Coach Cole has his team ready, and we will bring you back on the other side with a countdown to the kickoff of the SWAC championship game between Alabama State and Southern as the Geico NBC desk rolls from Birmingham.
We're at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama for the Jeep SWAC Championship as the Jaguars of Southern University, with a record of 11-1, take on the Hornets of Alabama State, who come in with a record of 8-4. Let's look at the standings. First of all, in the East, Alabama State overcame a lot of adversity during the season and won the East, even though, if you look at the standings, they're tied there with Alcorn, but they beat Alcorn in head-to-head competition. As far as the West is concerned, well, Southern University comes up with 1 loss. They're tied with Grambling, both at 6-1 in conference play, but more importantly, in the Bayou Classic, they beat Grambling, and that propelled them into today's championship game. Hello again, everyone. Charlie Neal along with Jay Walker. Welcome to Birmingham and the Jeep SWAC Championship. And Jay, when you look at this this season and you look at, this century, there's only been one team that's won the SWAC Championship. Today, there will be a team other than Grambling that walks away with the SWAC Championship.
Yeah, but I think more importantly, if you're Southern University, you have an opportunity to take the Black College National Championship out of the hands of the voters, solidify it today with this win, and if you win today, you win the SWAC Championship and the Black College National Championship.
Well, when you talk about key people in this particular game, let's start with Southern University and the SWAC's Offensive Player of the Year, quarterback Quincy Richard.
Yeah, what Quincy Richard did this year at Southern University was phenomenal. He played the best single season.
And welcome back to the SWAC championship game here in Birmingham, where Alabama State and Southern University are about ready to get underway. to crown a champion here. And the rains which we have predicted to come, which were predicted, I should say, to come early, have come a little bit earlier. An 80% chance of rain is frigid, and if you really want to get inside the nuts and bolts of this contest, you really got to wonder what kind of rain, what kind of effect the rain is going to have on this game. And next week we will be in Atlanta for the Pioneer Bowl, where Fayetteville State, the back-to-back CIAA champions, will be taking on Albany State of the SIAC under the big top of the Georgia Dome in Atlanta on next Saturday. But before we get to next Saturday, it is Alabama State and Southern who will be, and that's the great thing about SWAC football, folks. The passion, few people and few other conferences would brave the elements. The temperatures hovering around the upper 30s. You've got rain coming down. It's a cold, wintry mix. But let me tell you, there's a passion in the stands in the SWAC. And like I kicked off the season in Jackson with, the only thing hotter than the temperature in the South in late August is SWAC football, and that intensity stays here all the way through the entire season. So as we get ready for this game, I'm anxious to see whether or not the Southern running game and LaShawn Peoples is going to be able to jumpstart itself. It's been so overshadowed this entire season. Now, back to the Pioneer Bowl for a second. Next week it comes up. You've got Fayetteville State and Albany State, and let's go inside that matchup.
After a one-year absence, the Pioneer Bowl returns to the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. And what a matchup for December 20th. The CIAA champs, Fayetteville State, take on Albany State, champions of the SIAC.
I think it's a wonderful opportunity for our student athletes there at Fayetteville State to have an opportunity to come down here and play in a bowl game. Anytime you can play in a postseason event, that means your football team did a pretty good job.
We're excited. We're very excited. We're looking forward to it, and we think we're going to put on a show, and we look forward to getting here to do it.
The man most responsible for bringing the Pioneer Bowl back into existence is SIAC Commissioner William Lyde. He felt it was important for the CIAA and the SIAC to resume what had been a very exciting series.
This is a showcase area to host the bowl game in. Anytime you're in the city of Atlanta to host any type of event, it's major.
It's the first Pioneer Bowl appearance for both Fayetteville State and Albany State. You can see this game live at 2 p.m. Saturday, December 20th on NBC Network.
Get in, he does. Touchdown. And when they say catch the games at this point in the season, it's catch the championship games here on NBC. We've set it up. The teams are ready to play. They've been chomping at the bit to get here, and we're ready to bring it home. It is the Southwestern Athletic Championship game, sponsored by Jeep. Alabama State and Southern. We will see you at the half from Legion Field in Birmingham.
early light. What so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ran, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
This is an NBC Sports presentation.
Alabama State won 5 of its last 7 games and boasts one of the nation's top-scoring teams, led by the SWAC's #2 rusher, newcomer of the year, Keldrick Williams, who averaged better than 100 yards a game over the last 5 contests. Southern will counter with the SWAC's Offensive Player of the Year, quarterback Quincy Richard, who threw for over 3,200 yards this season, including a career-high 552-yard performance 2 weeks ago. Who will win today's SWAC championship? The answer is next. We're at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama for the Jeep SWAC Football Championship as the Jaguars of Southern University, with a record of 11-1, take on the Hornets of Alabama State. They are 8-4. Let's check out the standings. At the end of the regular season for the SWAC, first in the Eastern Division, Alabama State and Alcorn came in tied at 5-2. But in head-to-head competition, it was Alabama State who came out victorious. As far as the West is concerned, Southern and Grambling came in tied at 6-1, but it was Southern University who beat Grambling in the Bayou Classic and propelled them into today's championship game. Hello again, everyone. Charlie Neal along with Jay Walker. Welcome to Birmingham and the Jeep SWAC Championship. And when you look back in this century, Jay, there's no other team other than Grambling that has won the SWAC Championship. Today, we will crown a new champion.
Yeah, more importantly for Southern University, if they win today, they can clinch the SWAC Championship, but also the Black College National Championship. That means a lot. Take it out of the hands of the voters and handle your business today on the football field.
Well, you talk about the Office Depot ones to watch, and one of the people that we were going to really take a look at today is the Offensive Player of the Year in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, quarterback Quincy Richard of Southern University.
And Quincy Richard did everything that Coach Pete Richardson asked him to do. He exceeded it. He had the best season as a quarterback in Southern University history. In their history, he's played phenomenally all year long. He's got a quick release, a strong arm, and more importantly, he's a senior and he's got that leadership, and he's coming off the best football game of his career in last week's Bayou Classic. And as you take a look at on the Alabama State for their Hornets, the one to watch, Keldrick Williams, the running back. He's got to be the go-to guy. Make it easy on their quarterback. Run the football all day long. He was the newcomer of the year in the conference for Alabama State. So what he has to do is continue to improve, run hard, coming off an all-SWAC performance. If he can play his best football game today, Alabama State has an opportunity to clinch the SWAC championship.
Richard and Williams, the Office Depot ones to watch. This will be the 26th meeting between Southern University and Alabama State. As you look at the big guy there.
Home run hitter.
Yes, home run hitter. Hey, he's there, and he's in person, and he's live here in Birmingham, and we'll be back with the opening kickoff. The last two meetings have been won by Southern.
Hi. Can I help you? We're looking for something real. I know what you mean. Take a look.
Honey.
This one looks nice.
And it's trail rated. Really trail rated.
If it's not trail rated, it's not a Jeep 4x4.
Don't say no bad words, cause you ain't no puppet shout. Always use good manners when you're eating a sloppy jow. Yeah, go on and on and on and on.
Peace! Mr. Jiggyfly, I have good news.
You enjoyed it then?
No, I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
This one here.
This holiday season, come to Office Depot for everyday low prices on technology gifts for everyone on your list. No matter what business you're in.
Christmas tree, are you here, Ed?
Here you go, Chewie.
Thank you, Bob.
There you go. Happy holidays, Marnie.
Oh, thank you, Bob.
Happy holidays.
Office Depot. What you need to know. Now until December 13th, save $250 on an Averitech notebook computer at Office Depot.
Today's game is brought to you by Office Depot. What you need to know. And by Hydro Water. Distinctive bottle. Distinctive water Ice Age from Hydro Bottled Water. The Jeep SWAC Championship here in Birmingham, Alabama at Legion Field is where we are for our NBC Game of the Week. And it's Alabama State taking on Southern. The third member of our broadcast team for today's game is Rob Jones. Let's go down to the sideline to Rob now.
Hey, Charlie and Jay, while you guys up there dry, you know, rain never hurt anybody. I'm totally prepared, full body rain gear, and I'm stuffed underneath, ready for that 40-degree temperature. You know, these two teams played September 27th, and Southern beat them down 35-10. Besides the 4 turnovers the Hornets committed inside the red zone 4 times, and they only came away with 3 points. That really hurt them, and that's really not good for a team like them. They were ranked #1 in the SWAC all season long inside the red zone. As I said, it's raining, it's cool. That may be a factor in this SWAC championship.
All right, thank you very much, Rob. And you talk about rain, Jay. The temperature 48 degrees, humidity 76%, and the temperature has been dropping, and they were expecting the weather to be a little worse. Who do you favor in a game like that?
Well, for the weather, definitely advantage Alabama State because they're more of a balanced attack. They want to run it and throw it. Southern purely wants to pass the football, run when they have to, so the weather is trying to help out the Hornets today.
All right, Southern in the white will get the opening kickoff. Kevin Moffitt tries to field it, picks it up at the 15, trying to get to the right side, has a little running rope, is up across the 35, the 40, 45 midfield, and he's still on his feet, turns the corner, down to the 15, and he's out of bounds at the 14-yard line. Kevin Moffitt, the junior from Laurel, Mississippi, electrifies the crowd here in Birmingham with the opening kickoff. He brings it all the way back from the 15 to they're going to mark it right at about the 21-yard line.
Yeah, what you see here is Kevin Moffitt trying to make up for his mistake. He starts off by bobbling the football here, and we talked about the conditions. So he's got the bobble, but after the bobble, once he gets in the crease right here, check him out as he goes to the race, and it's a foot race. But this is just idealistic of what the Hornets do. They keep coming after you. Look at the pursuit down the sideline to eliminate the touchdown opportunity to give the defense to at least try and hold the Jaguars to 3 points instead of a short touchdown.
64 yards on the return by Moffitt Richard on first down out of the shotgun. It's almost intercepted as it goes off of the hands of one of the receivers here. Richard and his team in the visiting white jerseys. The stats on him this year, 3,200 yards passing. That was the longest, by the second longest kickoff return by Moffitt this year. He had a 99-yarder against Allen. He returned the opening kickoff earlier in the season.
Yeah, Moffitt's back there taking the place of, Ezra Landry was their special teams guru. He's been hampered by a sore ankle, but hey, they're just showing you Pete Richardson has a lot of talent on that team. Second down, nowhere to run this time for Sean Peebles as he was hit immediately by Ron Dillon, the strong linebacker. Number 47, as you look at the rest of the offense for Southern University, Sean Peebles, Drayton Bridges, Chris Davis, Al Ard, and Lionel Joseph are the wide receivers and running backs. The offensive line of Mania Smith, Lunda Wells, Brandon Jones, Chad Green, and Arnold Sims. They've done a great job. Those are the Jeep starting lineups. On third down, from the shotgun again, Richard has only been sacked 7 times this year. Throws it, and it's incomplete, in and out of the hands of Chris Davis. He had it, got into the end zone, and let it go. I mean, that ball was there, and what he did was let the ball come down to him instead of go up and get that ball to its highest point. Richard went the right place with the football. As you look at the Alabama State defense, Frazier, Revel, Jimmy Parham starts today, but his brother has to wait till the second half because of an incident that occurred on Thanksgiving Day. They're the linebackers, and Dylan Gresham, along with Wynn, and the secondary, Hill, Rowe, Fletcher, and Sanders. Those are the Jeep starting lineups. Fourth down, they're going to go for it. Southern University, they're 62% on fourth down this year. Richard has some running room, and he gets it inside. He's knocked down, and he fumbles the football. And let's see who comes up with it. He had enough for the first down because he was inside the 10. Now let's see what happens with the fumble. Yeah, and I think what Southern was anticipating was getting that blitz again, and they had a wide receiver open on the previous play, but the senior Quincy Richard does a good job as he gets knocked. They might have marked him down there, but when you're having the type of season the Jaguars are having, even the fumbles bounce your way. They certainly do, and they get the first down, and it's first and goal, the ball resting just inside the 10. This is a team that scored in their last 9 possessions when they had the ball first. So they're used to putting it into the end zone when they get the opening kickoff, or whenever they touch the ball first. Yeah, and I think, a coach has to know the pulse of his team. Coach Richardson to go for it on 4th and 15, opening drive with a SWAC championship, phenomenal job, and he knew his team was going to find a way to pick that up. Myrick Cole goes out for Alabama State, the defensive end, number 99, out of McGee, Mississippi. Looked like he had a stinger on the shoulder. It is second down. Play action to Holmes. Richard throws. Too big in the end zone, and it goes incomplete, intended for Lionel Joseph. Joseph couldn't come down with it, and it's third down. Yeah, we talked with Coach Pete Richardson yesterday. We said, well, what do you do if it rains? What does that do to your game plan? And he said nothing, but I'm a former quarterback, and I know, hey, quarterbacks really don't prefer to throw the football in the rain, and we've seen Quincy Richard come out his first 2 passes. He hasn't had a lot of zip and a lot of crispness on that football, meaning he can't direct it where he's going. We had one ball go through a wide receiver's hands, and there, he just missed high. I think that's because of the wet football. Third down and goal. Holmes, the man in motion. Richard under pressure, throws, almost intercepted. I believe it was Ron Dillon that got his hands on it, number 47. And we also have some pressure, and Richard a little slow getting up. Look at this. Yeah, I mean, that's what you do. If you get that close there, and what happened is he gave him a piece of the rock. They call him Rock Dillon. Rock Dillon came there and said, Quincy Richard, SWAC Player of the Year, will get a piece of the rock. And that's what this Hornet team does. They just keep fighting. Kerry Frazier was the man who came in and put the pressure on him.
And now we have a field goal attempt. This will be about a 25-yarder. And now a timeout has been called by Alabama State. Meanwhile, it's Monty Ackley who's come on to attempt the field goal. He's done a pretty good job. They haven't kicked a lot of field goals this year. They only had 11 attempts coming into the game. He's 8 of 11, as long as a 43, and he's 72% in field goal kicking, but this will be a 25-yarder.
Yeah, and I think, obviously that's showing that Coach Richardson knows how far away he can go for a field goal attempt, because on 4th and 15 he went for it when they had the ball on the 23-yard line, and now all of a sudden he wants to decide to go for the field goal once he gets on the 10-yard line, so he must know something. But let's hear about it from Coach Pete Richardson, the Airpo style keys to victory.
Mental mistakes, consistency, and being able to stop the big play.
So you see, take a look there, and those are the keys to victory brought to you by Airpo Stall. And what Coach Richardson means by that, consistency. Do what we've done all year long to get us there. Let's come up with the big plays like we did on the opening kickoff return there, and we have to have mental toughness. Realize that we have to play like a champion. Our season is not complete until the final whistle goes off today in this football game.
Thomas Ricks, backup quarterback, is the holder for Monty Ackley, who's attempting his 9th field goal of the year. And this one is good, and Southern draws first blood for the 10th straight game. 12:37 to go, and they lead it early, 3-0 over Alabama State. Charlie Neal along with Jay Walker. And there's Quincy Richard. They're tending to him on the sideline. He's a little shaken up after that last rough tackle there that came from Kerry Frazier.
Kerry Frazier's played a great football game all season long. And, hey, hit the quarterback every time you throw the ball. They start to feel it sooner or later in the football game.
Here's Foster on the return for Alabama State, and he's across the 25 up to about the 29-yard line. So Alabama State gets the ball for the first time. As you look at Tavares Jackson, that's their quarterback. He's a redshirt sophomore. He transferred out of Arkansas from Lanier High in Montgomery, Alabama, and you see the stats on him.
Yeah, and his future looks bright. He's just a sophomore, and this kid keeps getting better week in and week out. With those type of numbers there, he could have been warranted to be on that second team all-conference as well. He had a phenomenal season, and the future is very bright for Tavares Jackson.
He has one lone setback behind him, and that is Keldrick Williams, newcomer of the year in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Then he splits 3 wide receivers out to the right side, and now we have an offsides against the defense. Big number 97 got in there for the Southern Jaguars. Kevin Young. Let's look at our Jeep starting lineup of backs and receivers, and they're going to get an offensive false start or illegal procedure against Alabama State. Keldrick Williams, Justin Holmes, Chad Lucas, Reggie Glover, and Clinton Cotton is the tight end. And the up people, Wilkerson, Rosette, Nagel, Bradford, and Harris, the Jeep starting lineup. The offense for Alabama State, they throw it on first down and have it complete on the near sideline, and picking up good yards is Chad Lucas. Lucas gets it all the way out across the 35 to the 36-yard line. He'll be about 3 yards shy of a first down. It'll be 2nd down and 3 after the gain of 7.
What you see him there is just getting the ball to their playmakers, extending the ball, not making Jackson, he's still young, he's a sophomore, not making him make any tough passes early on, just extending handoffs, letting some of the playmakers make plays early in this football game as they start to feel each other out.
Now to hand off to the left side to Keldrick Williams. Let's look at the defensive line for the Jaguars of Southern University. Led by Raylan Johnson, Perry Davis, Jonathan St. Cyr, the oldest member of this squad, and Kevin Young. The linebackers, Taurus Morgan, Kendrick Paul, and Eddie Green gets to start today. And in the secondary, the defensive player of the year, Lenny Williams at one corner, along with Eddie Woods, D'Angelo Lewis, and Aaron Damon. And we get a pass complete up to the 39 for a first down. And this is Chad Lucas on the reception again, as you saw the Jeep starting lineups. First down and 10.
Yeah, and that was an impressive throw there by Tavares Jackson. That's called knowing your protection and where the blitz is coming from. All he did, it was 3rd and 3 there, hit the hot receiver. They brought the blitz from the outside. He hit him for a quick little 4-yard completion to continue to move the chains and give the Hornets the first down.
This drive for the Hornets started at their own 29-yard line, trying to run the ball. One of the things that we noticed early in the year was that they started out at a 50-50 type of offense, run, pass, and then as the game went on, they wanted to devote more of their energy toward the run game, 60-40.
Yeah, and that's because Keldrick Williams he couldn't be stopped. He was averaging 5.8 yards a carry, so you do the math there, and they said we have to figure a way to give him the ball more and more. And as a quarterback, you don't mind it, especially a young quarterback. If you can hand the ball off, you really do appreciate that in the long haul.
2nd down. Jackson throws complete up to the midfield stripe. And on the reception, big number 87 is Clayton Harris from Montgomery, Alabama. He's a junior. Remember, they had to get past the Tuskegee team on Thanksgiving Day, a team they hadn't beaten in quite a while, and they had like a little measure of revenge there.
Anytime you have to play those in-state rivals, throw the records out the window, you know you're going to be in for a dogfight.
It certainly is. These guys are down the street from each other. They've been playing on Thanksgiving Day for a long time. Wide open! Dropped! Dropped! Can you believe it? It was dropped wide open down the field for Alabama State was Vance Robinson out of Dayton, Ohio, redshirt sophomore. Oh, you can't get more wide open than that.
Oh, this is a beautiful read. It's a beautiful throw. It's a beautiful route. It's an ugly drop. Everything was beautiful. Jackson throws the ball right on the money. He's got him there, and he just started running without the football. But I'll tell you what, that's a warning shot. Keep his head in the football game. You'll get another shot, but you don't get that many opportunities. Maybe once or twice in the season, he had his opportunity in the big game on the big stage.
So that brings up a 4th down punting situation, which brings on Jason Brothwell. Back to receive it is Lenny Williams for Southern University. He will not get a chance to return it as the ball goes out of bounds right at the 20-yard line. So Southern University, when we come back, will get the ball for the 2nd time today. They lead it 3-0. We're in the first quarter with 9:44 remaining.
route that he's not going to go down to that. Then he's not going to go. You got to get that second route. He got to
And there you see coaches on the sideline dealing with the situation, trying to fire the squad up. First down and 10 from the 20, complete on the near side. Lionel Joseph, and Joseph close to a first down, up close to the 30-yard line. Let's see where they mark it. But Lionel Joseph will make that Chris Davis, rather, 80 on the reception. Chris Davis came in with 51 receptions coming into the ball game, and we have a player a little slow getting up and a little shaken up for the Hornets of Alabama State. One of the linebackers, I believe, number 56, is it?
58.
58.
That's Kerry.
Yeah, that's
Kerry Frazier, the one that put the big hit on Rashad.
Right. Kerry Frazier out of Nashville, Tennessee. Second team all-conference selection this year. You know, they came into the season and they lost Earl Cochran early on in the season, or before the season started. That was somebody they were, you know, going to miss. And as you look at Charlie Coe, boy, I tell you, we talked about the job that he did. He came in just 2 days before camp was supposed to start, as the team relieved L.C. Cole of his duties, suspended him. And, you know, I asked the president, Joe Lee, yesterday, when are you going to take the interim off of Coach Charlie Coe's name? He says probably next week. We had some legal things we had to get through, and I think they finally settled with L.C. Cole this past week.
Yeah, we had an opportunity to talk to Coach Cole about his keys to victory for this game. So let's listen to Coach with the Aeropostale keys to victory.
We play well in the special teams. We can't turn the football over, and we got to make sure we keep the ball in front of us on defense and tackle. That'll give us an opportunity to come out and be victorious in this ball game tomorrow.
What Coach Cole is saying there, Coach Cole is saying that, hey, this is the big game. We have to do everything right. That's basically what they mean. The keys to victory brought to you by Aeropostale.
But isn't that the key every week?
Every week. But coaches, you know, they have coaches cliches, we call them.
Yeah. 2nd and 1 after a 9-yard gain on the catch by Chris Davis. Richard. They'd actually lose yards on this completion because it was like almost a counter type of pass, or a counter screen or comeback screen inside. You know, normally screens go outside, but it was like a center screen.
Yeah, and what they're doing now, and you're seeing this more and more in the National Football League, is what they call wide receiver screens. Instead of setting up a screen like you do traditionally and give it to a running back, well, you give it to a wide receiver. You let the offensive line fake the pass a little bit longer so they can go outside. And the wide receiver is taught, catch that ball and come inside to where your defenders are or where the blockers are.
8:44 remaining in the first quarter. 3rd and 1. Richard from under center, and he hands it off to Sean Peoples, and he has the first down up to the 32-yard line. So Sean Peoples on the carry.
And Sean Peoples is another guy that has come in and he's played fantastic this year, and last year he was the newcomer of the year, and he didn't have that sophomore jinx. As you see, he rushed for almost 1,000 yards there. So the Jaguar attack, although we talk about how potent they are passing the football, they've got a good combination of throwing the football and running the football, and Peoples is the main reason they have such a potent running game too, because they fear and respect Sean Peoples.
First down and 10 at the 32-yard line. From the shotgun again, Richard throws quickly, has it complete over the middle, and another 9-yard gain on the reception. This reminds me a lot of, you know, I watched this offense, and this wasn't as potent when we saw him back in August. As you look at this time, is the reception made by Lionel Joseph is the old Mississippi Valley with Jerry Rice and Todd. Yeah, real quick passes.
Yeah, they're spreading it out all there, but what you saw there was good patience by Quincy Richard. Alabama State is dropping to a 2-deep zone, but they're dropping very deep, giving up the underneath throws, not allowing the big plays. So Quincy Richard has to show patience and take those 5-yard completions all game.
This time, Sean Peoples had nowhere to run as he was stopped in his tracks by J.C. Chambers, redshirt sophomore out of Columbus, Georgia, number 95.
Yeah, what you see there is just watch him beat his man off the ball there. He's going to come from down here, and just what happens is once you beat your man off the ball, you come up hard the field in the middle. Actually, he came right there. Good job of recognizing the counter trap. And they've got some athletes, like we say, they're so aptly named Hornets. What do Hornets do? They swarm, and they swarm all over the place. In this case, they swarm to the football.
Lost 4 yards. They started the season, Alabama State 3-1, and won 5 of their last 7 games. This time the pass complete on the near side, and a loss, and a great stop by Ron Dillon again on the reception by Lionel Joseph. And it brings up a 4th down punting situation for the Jaguars of Southern. So the defense of Alabama State, who came into the game ranked number 18 in the nation against the run, and also 3rd in scoring in the SWAC and 6th in total defense, came up with a big stop.
Yeah, what they have to do is continue to make plays like that. When that ball was in the air, I said, wow, they've got the guy covered, but they better wrap up and make a great tackle. And Rock Dillon did a good job of making the tackle.
And not a good punt that time by Kobe Miller, who's a veteran kicker for this Southern University team. We're in Birmingham, Alabama. It's the Jeep SWAC Championship. I'm Charlie Neal along with Jay Walker and Rob Jones. A 28-yard punt. Southern University in the blue and white jerseys. They're the visitors in this game. Alabama State in the black jerseys, gold pants. And they have the ball 1st down and 10 after that 28-yard punt at their own 33-yard line. Second possession for the Hornets today. Jackson calling the signals. And we got movement up front. It'll be a false start. It'll be the 2nd penalty of the day against Alabama State.
Yeah, and I think what Jackson saw there is they're trying to load the box against Tavares Jackson. So you heard Coach Jones talk about in the pregame how you have to take the ball out of his hands. So what you have to do is and they're going to penalize the Hornets there. But what Southern's trying to do is, you take a look here. Look at all these guys close to the line of scrimmage. 8-man box. So they're saying it's tough to run when you have 5 people blocking 8. And Jackson was trying to make an audible to get him out of a run play and go with a potential pass.
5-yard penalty against Alabama State makes it 1st and 15. And they give off to Keldrick Williams. He turns the corner, gets inside across the 40 and up to the 44-yard line. Gains almost all of that back plus some, and may have the 1st down.
Yeah, what you're going to see is watch him have the vision to take this ball, then bounce outside. And once you get down there, look at the wide receiver over here doing what we call a chicken fight, just blocking like an old chicken fight, staying in front of the defensive back. And when you've got a running back as explosive as Keldrick Williams, if you hold that block 1 second longer, he can take this run to the house. Look at the vision there, setting up the blockers downfield, running hard. They've got a good game plan today, this Alabama State Hornet offense.
Key to that 15-yard run was he got by Eddie Green, the linebacker, to turn the corner. It is 1st down and 10. Here's Williams again. He makes a good move on the outside, has good vision, and understands what is there and what is not, but there's a penalty flag down. We may have holding on the Hornets.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where that holding was coming from. It looked like it was down the field. Maybe they might have called it on Chad Lucas, the wide receiver. On the previous play, he tried to block and he got beat. This time he might have held. I think that's what it was. But do you see the vision? I mean, you know, once Williams breaks through the line of scrimmage, he has the speed to get through the hole, but he also has the patience to allow his blockers to set up the hole even more for him. He's something special.
Richard Drake is our referee today, and his crew from the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And he'll let us know what happened. So it's still 1st down, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. So the foul occurred downfield beyond the line of scrimmage. So it's actually 1st and about 15. So it's not that bad.
Yeah, you can recover from that there. And even if you get a hold on 1st down, give me 1st and 20. If I'm a good quarterback, I can make up the difference.
And again, they're going long. Jackson, and it goes incomplete.
Yeah, what you're seeing there is a 1st and 20. They're trying to get it on big chunks. But as Jackson matures, you have to realize, even though it's 1st and 19 or 18 yards, all you have to do is just get 7 or 8 yards at a time. Don't go and try and get it all with one play. The home run ball will be there, but set up the short passing game. Then you can take the home run ball when you want to.
Charlie Coe, in his 1st year as the head coach, he was an assistant at the University of Memphis. He got the job at Alabama State on August 4th. He also coached at Tennessee and at Pitt. He was a Kansas State graduate. 1971. Here's a pass inside. Not much running room after the reception that time. This time holding on to the football was the man who dropped the touchdown. Let's go down to Rob Jones.
And the Hornets may have taken a big blow, Charlie and Jay. Kerry Frazier limped off the field. Right now, he's on the sideline with an ice pack on his left ankle, very dejected, tears in his eyes. I spoke with one of the trainers. They said he may return in the second half.
Well, you got to figure this. If I'm Kerry, I got to say, let me put as much ice on this ankle as I can, but I got to get back on the field. But if he was a senior, I guarantee he'd be coming back. But since he's a sophomore, hey, don't do any more damage to yourself that can jeopardize you for spring football and your football career in the future. So they've got an excellent athletic staff there that I met some of the guys yesterday, actually all the Health South guys are their official team doctors. So they're getting the best medical treatment you can get in the business. And just, hey, suck it up and you live to fight another day.
And we have a player shaking up for the Jaguars of Southern University.
You know, it's weird to me, and it's funny because normally when you get elements like this, you hardly ever see twisted ankles or twisted knees, and if that's Lenny Williams, that could be huge right there.
Lenny Williams.
As you see here, he's coming in there at the very end. He's got that head down, and it's kind of tough to see what happened. He might have knocked himself out a little bit, getting hit on the helmet.
More so than anything, he's walking off pretty good, like he's not having any problems with any of his limbs or ankles or legs or anything of that nature. And here's a man who's never missed a game and has started every game throughout his 4-year college career. What a career that young man has had. I mean, he was a 1AA player of the week against Arkansas Pine Bluff, SWAC defensive player of the year. And here's a third down and flags everywhere. And the pass goes high and incomplete. Let's see, it may have been procedure, or it could be offsides. Let's wait and see.
Yeah, it looked like it was offsides. And I like the poise of Tavares Jackson. He realized he had a free play there that Southern had jumped into the neutral zone. So he said, I'm going to throw the ball in the double coverage and try and get something lucky to happen. It takes poise and leadership and football knowledge to know how to capitalize when the other team jumps offside.
Here's our referee. So the 5-yard penalty.
Look at that right there. Woo! Getting physical. Getting physical. That's what I'm talking about. It's like a heavyweight boxing match. Left, right, left, left. Oh, man, they're punching there. Woo!
It is third down and about 6 for the Hornets. Jackson stands, throws, incomplete. On the near side, Reggie Glover, the intended receiver. And there was no chance. And it'll bring up fourth down in a punting situation for the Hornets.
Yeah, that's one of those things where Glover has to understand, have a little bit more football wherewithal. At the end of that play, he was asking for a flag. Well, if you run a 4-yard route and the defender's bumping you, he's got 5 yards. He can almost mug you, literally, if you're going to take a short route like that. So you're not going to get a pass interference call 5 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Second time today, we've seen the punter for Alabama State, Jason Brothwell. Lenny Williams was the deep man to receive the kick on the previous one. And he's going to be replaced this time by Vernon. And now the punter is trying to get outside, and he's not going to get the first down, and they get nothing on that. They actually lose about a half a yard.
High snap.
High snap doesn't help. Special teams, as Coach said.
Yeah, this is one thing where football has become such an athletic sport. Look at the athleticism of him to get this football. This ball snapped so high, I didn't think he was going to get it. But he jumped up and looked like Ray Guy there with the one-handed catch, and then tried to run for it up top there, then pitch the ball. Pitch the ball, son. You're a kicker. I don't expect you to run too hard, but they got the benefit of a flag. Let's see where it is, and is it something that may help them or go against them? Let's let the referees figure out what the flag is about.
Against Alabama State. Now, I don't know what the call was, but Southern's going to get the ball.
Personal foul.
What is that, Charlie? You know about those stripes.
Personal foul. He called a personal foul against Alabama State. So there's Pete Richardson on the sideline, and I see Ezra Landry.
He's back there.
Yeah.
Trying to get him in, but you got to make a better referee impersonation than that. You're supposed to give me that deep referee voice.
Yeah,
dead ball, personal foul. You got to pause. The built-in pause for the echo,
well,
Charlie. I thought you had more talent than
I'm
that.
doing some lessons. I'm trying to train these guys, you know. So at the 32-yard line of Alabama State, Southern has the ball. The second time today that they've started with great field position. Their first possession, they started at the Alabama State 21 after a 65-yard kickoff return by Kevin Moffitt. And now it's first down and 10, leading 3-0 with 4:21 to go in the first quarter. Richard looking in the end zone. Wow. And it's caught. It is caught by Alfred Ard. Would would you believe it, with 2 defenders around him.
Wow, can you believe how lucky Quincy Richard got there? I mean, Quincy having a fantastic year, but I didn't think that was the right place to go with the football. But when you've got playmakers like Alfred Ard, throw it up. Hey, he got you this far. Let him make a big play for you. Got away with throwing in the double coverage, but Alfred Ard capitalized and went up and got that ball for his 11th touchdown reception of the year.
33 yards to Ard, and a point after by Ackley. It's up, and it is good. And just like that, it's 10-0 Southern. You're talking about striking quickly. Alfred Ard with his 11th reception of a touchdown this year.
Yeah, right there. Quincy locked and loaded. He knew he was going to Ard the whole time, but you've got 3. Count them. 1, 2, 3. 3 Hornet defenders back there, and he threw the ball. That's why I said he got away with the throwing the ball in the coverage, but maybe he knew he was behind him. But if you're Alabama State and Coach Coe, you got to figure, hey, where's my defense? Watch these guys. He looks over here the whole time. He's getting over there. He's coming from here. Everybody's got to meet there. This was the guy he should have gone to, but he got away with it there. And sometimes, just like in golf, football's the same way. You'd rather be lucky than good.
Antoine Hill was the man who was draped all over Alfred Ard right there, and
he still let him catch it.
Yeah.
Draped all over him, and he still let him catch the football.
Richard 5 of 9 today, 52 yards and a touchdown. Not a bad start for an afternoon for the graduate student from Opelousas, Louisiana.
You know, now that you got to.
You see, yeah, I was a shot of a coach on the sideline who's someone that scouted you when you was at Alabama State, who scouted you when you were in college.
Yeah, scouted me for the New England Patriots and said he knew my whole book story, Charles. I mean, when he talked to me, he said, Jay Walker, I remember when you first got to Howard and when you played baseball and for Coach Allen and Willie Brown. And I said, wow, and he said, they featured you in this article. I said, you know everything about me. What is it? Are you a stalker? He said, no, I was actually the scout for the New England Patriots that recommended Bill Parcells draft.
And here we have a short kick fielded by Alabama State right at about the 22-yard line. While we look at the Imer and NBC Black College Sports page top 10 poll, the only change from a couple of weeks ago is Grambling and Southern swap positions going into the Bayou Classic. Grambling was number 1. Now Southern not only looking to win this Southwestern Athletic Conference championship, to become the Black National College champs. And the rest of the top 10 with Albany State, Alabama A&M, Hampton, South Carolina State, and Alcorn and Tennessee State is tied for 10th. Those are the Iron top 10 this week. And we get a flag again. False start. So Alabama State keeps shooting themselves in the foot here in terms of getting their offense together. And these are the types of mistakes that drive coaches crazy.
They do. And if you're playing a lesser team, a lesser opponent that you're expected to win against, you can get away with a couple of penalties. But anytime you're trying to pull off the upset, all those penalties, when you get penalized like that, it's basically almost null and void trying to pull off the upset.
They've already been penalized 5 times for 38 yards in the ball game. Coming into today's game at the end of the regular season after finishing 8-4 and 5-2, they were averaging 73 yards in penalties per game. That is Alabama State, 76 yards per game for Southern University.
And Alabama State is halfway home on that 76 yards per game.
And we're still in the first
4
quarter.
minutes to go in the first quarter. So the good thing is, hey, they're getting it over early. But as a coach, you're like, I put together the perfect game plan, and you jump off sides. You don't execute just because of mental errors.
Justin Holmes, the up back in the eye. Here's Jackson looking, and he's looking downfield, and coming down with it is Lucas, Chad Lucas, with the reception. And that was a great reception, and Lenny Williams was the man covering it for Lucas to come down in front of Lenny Williams with that. That's a great catch.
Yeah, that was a great throw, and it was a great catch. And Chad Lucas is a senior wide receiver on his team, stepping up to the challenge of having one-on-one coverage with Lenny Williams. Once you watch the free safety bite on the up fake here, Jackson does a good job of going for the home run ball behind him. One-on-one coverage, anytime you get one-on-one as a quarterback, you got to have your wide receiver make a play, and Chad Lucas made a great play there for his 43rd catch of the year.
Cecil Fielder came into the booth. He was trying to get out of the cold. I understand. He's a Florida guy, so he doesn't understand it. Here's Koldrick Williams, and Williams with a good run inside the 35 to about the 33-yard line. So there's our young man, the 3-time newcomer of the week. And it's a flag down again.
Wow, you know, and he's had 2 big runs, and there have been flags on that. So
holding.
If you take away those holding penalties that have penalized him, he's having a fantastic game. And you know, Williams is the running back. He's really hurting because he's had 15-yard runs that have been negated by holding penalties. And trust me, running backs, they know those stats. They're always looking for the stats, and they're trying to tell those wide receivers, get your act together. Don't take it from my pocket to put it into yours.
Well, the mistakes that have hurt Alabama State have been not only the penalties, but we had a drop pass wide open for a touchdown.
Yep, and the punt snap over the snap was ball snapped over the punter's head, so they're coming out a little bit jittery. But anybody here in this stadium, and I'm sure Pete Richardson from Southern realizes that, hey, this Alabama State team can play, and if they stop shooting themselves in the foot, we're going to be in for a dogfight.
It is first down, 18. Flag is down late. Face mask. This one will go against Southern. I just mentioned Cecil Fielder, one of our partners and owners, and NBC is in the booth with us. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Other than the weather, I mean, it was supposed to be a great day here, but other than this weather, it's still going to be a good football game.
And it's not that bad.
I know you don't know this, Cecil. You're a baseball guy, but this is football weather.
Well,
I played
I played a little football in my day now. Hold up now.
Hold on, you like me. Now, you're from California, too. We don't play this in California either, so don't try that.
I hear you.
No joke. When I was in high school, they canceled a playoff game because there was too much rain, Charlie. And, you know, and I was glad because I was a quarterback. Hey, it's raining too hard. Let's cancel the game. So when I get to Howard University, my first game is played in the monsoon, and I go to Coach Wilson. I say, Coach, are they going to stop the game because it's raining? He says, son, we going
You ain't getting away with that one, Jay.
I can't even tell you what he said. So I got to ask you a couple questions about the offseason, what's going on with your old team, the Yankees. We'll get to that after this play.
Okay.
At the 39, first and 10 from the shotgun, Jackson throws and it's complete to Lucas, but he gains only about a yard down to the 38. Chad Lucas, been their big play receiver all year, came in to the day's game with 42 receptions, 5 touchdowns, averaging 17 yards per catch.
He's having a fantastic year. And, you know, while I have you here, do you really just go out and try and buy World Series rings nowadays? I mean, Kevin Brown's supposed to be coming over. He's a Dodger going to play for the Yankees, and Pettit's gone, and Clemens playing for the Yankees. What's going on with baseball, Cecil?
Well, I just think it's that time of those guys' careers. They're hunting for that ring. You can't get them in a Cracker Jack box. You got to win. So I think they're just hunting for it.
Chad Lucas, 4 receptions today, 52 yards. And we had offsides against Southern University. Here's Jackson, and the man who jumped off sides was Kevin Young out of the University of Tennessee. He transferred into Southern. He's a senior from New Orleans. There he is, big number 97 at 6'3", 270. He tried to hide after he got offside. You can't hide when you're 6'3", 270.
No, 270, the whole stadium sees that. Little defensive back, wide receiver, 180 pounds. You can twitch a fast twitch muscle and we won't recognize it. But if you're that big, we're going to see it.
Just watch the top of your screen here. The man in white, he didn't
even try to hide. He kept going. Good job. He did a good job. If you're going to jump offside, you
never know.
To take the quarterback.
They may not catch you.
Because if Jackson would have thrown that ball downfield, somebody might have been open. So go after the guy. Don't let him get away with a free play. Just give him the 5-yard penalty, and that's it.
So it brings up a 2nd and 5 now. Under 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Southern University leading 10-0. They returned the opening kickoff 65 yards that put them in position to score their first touchdown or first score points rather. Ackley with a 25-yard field goal, and then Richard on their last possession 32 yards to Alfred Ard, and that's the way we stand, 10-0. The minute 44 to go. Let's talk about what's happening at NBC, the network news, the urban voice for news and information. It impacts the African-American community. Gordon Graham and Val Bracey report the facts and present comprehensive analysis of issues facing our world. Watch NBC Network News. It comes your way weeknights at 7 and 11 p.m. Eastern right here on NBC. Something you're very proud of what we're doing here at NBC, right, son?
Well, I tell you, the news, I really enjoy watching the news. Just gives us a different perspective of what's really happening in the world. So, you know, I think it's an opportunity for us to really give a different view of what's happening in the news.
And I always say that Val Bracey can tell me good news or bad news. Watching her give me the news, it's always going to be just good news.
Listen to that.
See, he can't just have a regular promo.
Well,
He's got to always bring something else. Why don't you say that Gordon Graham makes you?
He's from California.
Why don't you say you like to watch Gordon Graham?
He's a ladies' man.
That's
what
I
it
knew
is.
it was something there.
Anytime you're from California, you're going to have that built-in tag of being a ladies' man. Cecil was a big-time ladies' man,
No, I
too.
wasn't. Don't
Just
say
known
that.
for that. You're just known for that. You know you were from California.
2nd down and 5. Alabama State has used 2 of its 3 timeouts already here in the first quarter. And they're facing a 2nd and 5 from the shotgun. Jackson. Ball is snapped by him. He falls on it. They lose yards back to the 47-48.
I mean, they got the matchup that they're looking for.
20-yard loss,
coverage,
or 15 yards.
Getting ready to attack the one-on-one coverage. They got the matchup they want to, and things like that happen. That's just tough, and as a coach, it just frustrates you more. That ball has too much mustard on it, especially with it being in the rain. You can't snap a ball that hard to a quarterback. He's only 5 yards away from it. When you're in shotgun, I used to like the ball to come kind of like a soft pop fly, rather than one of those hard line drives, Cecil, you can relate to. Give me a soft pop fly that I can catch and grab and run up underneath in case you miss. But if it's that hard, it has to be a perfect snap.
That's a loss of 15 on the bad snap. That brings up a 3rd and 20. Jackson gets inside the 40, down to the 36-yard line with under a minute to go. Clock ticking down, 50 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
Cecil, you've been around the Black College circuit now for a while. I want to know the off-the-field stuff. What's your favorite band?
Oh, man, if I say that, then I'm going to get in trouble, man. I can't give up that noise.
Well, somebody's got to do it. I can't do it. I got to see them every week.
That's what I'm saying. I can't do that. You know, I've been in both the chancellor's room and the president of Alabama State. I can't do that.
I got you.
Not today.
I understand.
I can tell you in private, but I can't tell you over there.
Hey, you have to be politically correct.
Yes, you do.
I got in trouble for doing that some years ago. I had a Sports Illustrated article that asked me who was my favorite band, and, you know, this is what, I had to name one. And this will go incomplete with 5 seconds to go in the first quarter.
They decided to go for it there on a 4th and 6, and the Jaguars were able to get some pressure on the right side there as you saw them bringing the blitz in. Eddie Green coming from the outside and make up duty as the linebacker, getting to Tavares Jackson, not allowing him to set his feet to make that throw.
So they drove from their own 24-yard line. They get the ball down to the 35 of Southern, but unable to capitalize.
Yeah, we talk about Coach Coe, but let's give this guy a lot of credit too. That's Coach Pierce there. When Coach Coe was out, Pierce stepped in and did not let the ship sink. He got in there. He's one of those assistant coaches of the year nominees because Coach Coe, we talked about the heart problems that he had. Well, you have to have a great assistant coach you can rely on when things like that go on. And I think that Coach Pierce did a fantastic job of being the interim coach or the interim coach for those 2 games that he was the head coach.
He was a defensive coordinator, Tony Pierce. In fact, Coach Coe missed the Prairie View game, missed the Alabama State game, came back for Grambling, was able to coach a half, and then had to go out. 1st and 10. Rain coming down a little harder now. Richard back to pass. He's only been sacked 7 times this year, and they came close to getting to him today. That's the end of the first quarter here in Birmingham. It's the Jeep SWAC Championship, where the Southern University Jaguars trying to win their 12th game of the year. They lead it right now 10-0 over Alabama State.
There are no gold medals for the 4x4 that masters Arctic snow. There are no championship games for fording muddy water. And there are no finish lines for the one that makes it over stacks of treacherous boulders. So why do we make sure every Jeep 4x4 is trail rated to such strict standards of capability? Perhaps the better question is, why doesn't everyone else? If it's not trail rated, it's not a Jeep 4x4.
This holiday season, come to Office Depot for everyday low prices on technology gifts for everyone on your list. No matter what business you're in.
Christmas tree, are you here, Ed?
Here you go, Chewie.
Thank you, Bob.
There you go. Happy holidays, Marnie.
Oh, thank you, Bob.
Happy holidays.
Office Depot. What you need to know. Now until December 13th, save $250 on an Averitech notebook computer at Office Depot.
Mr. Thompson, after hearing the evidence and listening to your testimony, this committee finds you guilty of obstruction of justice, embezzlement of company funds, and questionable accounting practices. Well, there appears to be some good news.
Yes, sir.
Well, I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico. Thanks very much.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
As we get ready to start the second quarter here, Charlie Neal along with Jay Walker. Let's go down to the sidelines to Rob.
They're also playing with a heavy heart. The players are wearing a black number 77 on the back of their helmets for their fallen teammate James Allen, who was shot to death during the offseason. Ironically, today, James Allen would have been 24 years old. His teammates are dedicating the season and this game in memory of him.
All right. Thank you very much, Rob. And they keep the ball on the ground, this time Southern with Gerald Holmes, a 5'5", 165-pound senior from New Orleans. He's gotten some playing time. He's a walk-on. And he made his first career start against the Tigers of Grambling in the Bayou Classic.
Yeah, you know, anytime you get a walk-on, there are always pleasant surprises. In this case, he's been what they needed as that scat back. So he comes in the game, you think right away he's going to catch the ball out the backfield, but there he's showing he can run the football as well. 14
yards for the young man from Carver High, New Orleans. Nolans, as they like to say. In that part of the country, Richard gives it off to Holmes again, and Holmes is across midfield into Alabama State territory, down to the 48-yard line. Gerald Holmes came into the game averaging 5.4 yards every time he touched the ball.
Yep, and he's got a lot of carries. He's got a lot of catches. You need a scat back type, and you're seeing more and more of these in college football. The guys that can catch the ball out the backfield and run hard in between the tackles. He's a small guy, but he still can run that football.
You know, it's so interesting. One of the stats I looked at when I look at Southern University, 61 touchdowns offensively this year, 30 of them on the ground, 31 in the air. That's pretty balanced.
That's balanced.
Richard throwing. Flag is down. Oh, that was not a flag. That was his socks. I thought it was the flag.
That red spat he's got there kind of threw you for a loop there.
It certainly did.
You know, what they're doing is they're playing the percentages. What Alabama State is trying to do is say, we're going to blitz a quarterback and make him throw the ball quickly. And what a difference a year makes. Take a look. Last season, 36 touchdowns. This year, 61 touchdowns. 4,300 yards last year. 5,200 yards this year. A lot of that has to be the play of Quincy Richard. More importantly, what I'm impressed with, last year, Richard was a 50% passer. This year, 66%.
What is even more impressive is he was sacked 30 times last year. He's only been sacked 7 all season long.
Yep, and he's getting rid of the football, as you saw in that last play there. Rather than take the sack, throw the ball away.
And he throws it quickly out to the far flat. And out of bounds is Chris Davis in front of the Alabama State bench. And he still will be short of a first down.
What they're doing is Alabama State is sticking to the game plan. Let these Southern Jaguar receivers catch the ball in front of them, come up and make a good solid tackle, but don't let them get behind you under any circumstance.
It is a 4th and 1. And let's see, they're probably going to go for it. Now Richard will work from under the center on this one. They bring in Sean Peoples, the 3rd leading rusher in the SWAC this year. And Peoples going for it.
Oh, sir.
I don't think he got it. Sean Peoples, who came in averaging just under 5 yards per carry, is turned away on downs, and the ball will go over to the Hornets of Alabama State, depending on the spot, but I don't believe he got it.
No, I don't think he came close to that. It's tough enough to run the football in Alabama State because they come into the game saying we're not going to let you run the football. And if you have 4th and short and they know you're going to run the football, it becomes that much tougher. And this Hornet defense steps up to the challenge, and they're quiet as kept. They're playing a fantastic game so far this half. I mean, Southern's had great field position and came away with 10 points when they easily could have had at least 14 to 21 points, but the Hornets have played fantastic defense.
They're going to measure just to be sure, but as you can see, it is way short. Richard stands there to make sure, and the ball he can't believe it. I don't know what's he arguing about. He's still looking. He still ain't sure. But that's that politics to the quarterback. You know all about that, Jay.
I don't know anything
You politic all the time. So it's 1st down and 10, Alabama State. They trail 10-0. This will be their 4th possession of the afternoon. They've started at their own 29, their own 33, their own 24, now their own 42. 1st down and 10. Jackson, little center screen, And not much going on there as he gets it complete to big number 44. And that's Robert Randolph, the fullback, running back.
You know, and they're having trouble. I mean, that was a center screen there, and they got away with that. That could have easily been a penalty. When you're going to have a screen and the ball caught behind the line of scrimmage, and you can't have linemen downfield. They had offensive linemen that were 3 or 4 yards down the field. They've got to settle down in the offensive line for Alabama State. Do the little things right.
2nd and 4 after a 6-yard gain. From the gun again, Jackson, and he faked the handoff and decided, or faked the pass and decided to hand off to Jatavius Abrams. And Abrams carried one of the Jaguars of Southern for a little ride. That was Renee Getrich. There he is, redshirt junior from JFK High in New Orleans.
Yeah, and Getrich is glad to be on the field. You know, he's one of the guys that started off the season starting in the lineup, but they've had to make a lot of adjustments, and a great job that Coach Richardson has done in shaking up that defensive line through injury, and Getrich is calling his number, so they're doing a good job of having that defensive line play well throughout all the injuries.
3rd down. And about 3. Complete, wide open in the middle of the field. And picking up yards is Clayton Harris, all the way down inside the 35 to the 33-yard line. Good catch there by big number 87, the junior from Montgomery, Alabama, with his 22nd reception of the year. Here he is.
Yeah, that's, you know, anytime you have a tight end, if you're a tight end, you have to take it personal. You have to assume that the middle of the field is mine. I want the ball in the middle of the field any chance I get, and that's what he does a good job of taking over the middle of the field. He's not a tight end, I apologize, but he lined up in that slot position, so he was the closest man to the middle field, and you have to own the middle of the field when you're the slot receiver.
18 yards on the catch and run. NBC Network invites your family to celebrate with our family again this Christmas. Thursday, December 25th. NBC Network presents Gary's Gift. It's a musical celebration featuring Trinity 5-7, the OJs, the Temptations, and real deal artist 4 Shades. Enjoy Gary's Gift. It's a musical celebration, and it comes your way Christmas Day at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on NBC. Charlie Neal along with Jay Walker here. And Jay, the weather started to deteriorate even more. They were talking about it. You know, we were talking about it coming in, how many different teams have won the SWAC championship. In the decade of the 90s, 5 different teams won SWAC titles. Jackson, Alabama State, Alcorn, Southern, and Grambling. But it's been all Grambling here since the year 2000.
Yeah, no, and that's been the message has been Grambling throughout all of black college football. They've won 3 black college national championships during that time as well.
And they were trying to win their 4th this year. Of course, they lost 44-41 to the Southern team in the Bayou Classic. But the last time a team had won 4 straight outright was Prairieville, believe it or not. It was back in 1951 and 1954. I want to also say, while we get a chance, congratulations to Sylvester Kroom. You know, he's the young man who was assistant coach in the NFL and with Green Bay Packers, and now has become the coach at Mississippi State down in Starkville, Mississippi. He joins 4 other African Americans who are head coaches at Division I major programs like UCLA, San Jose State, New Mexico, and Notre Dame. Fourth false start for Alabama State today. Throwing for Lucas. He has it. Touchdown. Chad Lucas. Touchdown, Alabama State. But there's a penalty flag down, but the official signaling touchdown.
Yep, and that's that poise there. If you get the one-on-one matchup, and as a quarterback, you find out
let's see
early
what the flag is, though,
in the game who your go-to wide receiver is going to be. And he found that Lucas is coming to play today and get him the football.
The official, the referee, signaled touchdown. The umpire is talking to him. They're going to bring it back. They're going to bring it back.
Wow. You know, Alabama State has definitely found something by attacking the middle of that Southern University Jaguar cover 2.
Delay a game. They said that the play clock had run out.
Wow.
Boy.
That's a tough one because they were coming off of a penalty before that. So it's really, you know, I don't know if they got a quick clock or not.
It should have been a fresh clock, right?
Yeah, but take a look here. As you see, they didn't reset that clock. But take a look here. You're going to see Lucas just run a seam down the middle of the field, attacking the cover 2. And once you get by your wide receiver, there's no help back there over the top. And he does a good job of attacking the seam. And that's the recipe. They've been attacking the middle of the field all day long. Go back to it.
8th penalty against Alabama State today. and it is caught, but no flag. Now the coaches on the far sideline, they're upset because the defender had the receiver wrapped up before the ball got there. They have a just cause because the same official basically was the one who called back the touchdown.
Yeah, but, you know, like I say, anytime you catch a ball within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, those referees are going to be a lot more lenient than they would in the regular field of play. This is where the ball is going to be cut right here.
5 yards.
He's
Jay.
coming, and he's right there, and he's on him, and he got an arm underneath him.
That's way beyond 5 yards.
You look at it, that's close, and the ball was floating in the air. And
it ain't
every
close.
now and then,
no, Jay, don't. That's not close. 11:20 to go. That's not even close. That's a Ray Charles penalty.
Look out.
Incomplete. So it brings up a 4th down, 4th and 14. Make it 3rd and 14, rather.
You know, that's the thing about why penalties, you always talk about coaches say they just can't take penalties. The game plan has been effective for Alabama State, but penalties have been their worst nightmare today. And if they walk away from this drive without any points on the board, they're going to have penalties to look at. And that's been the story of this first half so far.
And penalties have hurt them. They've had a drop touchdown pass. They had a touchdown call back on a penalty for delay of game. And then they had a bad snap on a punt. So they have not helped.
2 long runs called back, too, because of penalties.
Right. So they have not helped themselves today on 3rd and 14. Under pressure. Is it intercepted? No, it hit the ground. Incomplete. Almost coming up with it. Big number 38 there on the defense is Gabriel LaFrance out of Belle Chase, Louisiana.
Yeah, LaFrance would have been a beneficiary because they brought the blitz coming from the outside here, and Jackson doesn't even see this coming. They just see the defensive back from Southern get there. Eddie Woods, a strong safety. As a quarterback, you got to know when they're bringing a strong safety blitz. That's one of the things they first teach you. Learn where the safeties are. When he's lined up on the line of scrimmage on that blitz, you got to see him.
Talking about sacks, Tavares Jackson has been sacked only 14 times this year coming into the game, and they're going to go for it on 4th down. They've only hit 29% of their 4th down conversions or attempts this year. This goes awry, and again they come up short.
That's what it is.